In the evolving story of the Catholic Church, a significant new phase has begun with the election of Pope Leo XIV. His rise to the papacy has not only marked a pivotal moment in church history, but has also sparked global conversation and introspection among Catholics. This report explores the factors surrounding his election, the internal dynamics that shaped it, and what it may signal for the Church's future. The conclave that assembled to select the new pope was expected to be lengthy, with speculation swirling around several high-profile candidates. Yet, in an unexpected twist, Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost emerged as the chosen successor on just the fourth vote, a mere day after the conclave opened. The white smoke billowing at 1807, cessed on May 8, 2025, announced the decision to the world. Prevost's election surprised many. For one, he was widely seen as an unlikely candidate, overshadowed by more prominent figures. Additionally, his American roots raised concerns about the potential political symbolism of a U.S. pope. Nevertheless, his selection reflected the Cardinal's apparent desire for a leader who could heal divisions and build unity within a fragmented church. British journalist and papal biographer Austin Ivory has offered key insights into the lead-up to Pope Leo XIV's election. According to Ivory, Pope Francis had been quietly preparing Prevost for leadership for years. Their regular Saturday meetings, each lasting 2 hours, covered not just bishop appointments but broader ecclesial strategy. These sessions were less about administration and more about handing down a shared spiritual vision, laying the foundation for continuity. This revelation has drawn scrutiny from some quarters, with critics arguing it amounts to orchestrating a papal succession. They question whether the conclave was a truly open spiritual process or the execution of a predetermined outcome. Despite the calm and prayerful tone of the conclave, which included cardinals from more than 70 nations, the rapid pace of the decision and Prevost's swift emergence as a consensus choice have raised questions. Observers noted that figures like Cardinals Walter Casper and Donald Wuerl were seen close to Prevost shortly after his election, hinting at possible coordination among those aligned with Francis' ecclesial vision. This has fueled speculation that the conclave was less about divine discernment and more about following a strategic blueprint. Upon his election, Pope Leo XIV chose the name Leo, historically associated with strong leadership in times of upheaval. This symbolic gesture signaled his readiness to guide the Church through the modern era's challenges. In his initial address to the faithful, he stressed themes of dialogue, reconciliation, and unity, echoing many priorities of his predecessor. At the same time, Leo XIV has articulated a renewed emphasis on collegial governance and local empowerment, particularly for bishops and episcopal conferences. While in line with Vatican II principles, this approach has unsettled some traditionalists who fear it could weaken the central authority of the papacy. Pope Leo XIV's election has triggered intense reflection within the Church. His background as an Augustinian friar and his rich pastoral experience equip him with a unique lens through which to address the Church's current struggles. His commitment to synodality and shared leadership shows a clear desire to move away from rigid hierarchies and toward a more participatory Church. However, the reports of behind-the-scenes grooming and Francis's close mentoring of Prevost have cast a shadow over the process for some. Skeptics argue that such a tightly choreographed succession runs counter to the spirit of openness and surprise traditionally associated with the Holy Spirit's guidance. The election has reignited long-standing debates within Catholicism, particularly the tension between preserving tradition and embracing reform. For centuries, the Church has wrestled with balancing doctrinal integrity and responsiveness to changing times. Pope Leo XIV appears to favor reform, championing values like listening, inclusion, and outreach. This direction has unsettled some, faithful both clergy and laity, who worry that reform risks diluting the faith's moral and theological clarity. For them, decentralization and evolving pastoral practices signal a drift from the strong, clear leadership that once defined the papacy. Their objections are rooted not only in emotion, but also in deep theological conviction about the Church's identity and mission. Leo XIV's close association with Pope Francis has only intensified these concerns. For many, it's not simply a matter of personality or leadership style, it's about vision and doctrine. Among the most vocal critics is Bishop Joseph Strickland, a prominent American bishop who was relieved of his post under Francis. After reading Iveret's article detailing the meetings between Francis and Prevost, Strickland declared, "This is not good news." His reaction, though brief, resonated widely, echoing the sentiments of those who feel increasingly alienated by the Church's current trajectory. Strickland has long been a rallying point for Catholics skeptical of what some call the Church's progressive shift. He speaks for those who fear that the timeless faith of past generations is being eroded, that doctrinal certainty is being replaced by ambiguity, and that the Church's spiritual anchor is loosening. While few question Pope Leo XIV's sincerity, many worry he represents a broader initiative to reshape the Church in ways that stray from its roots. At the heart of today's conversation lies a profound question. Was the election of Pope Leo a genuine act of spiritual discernment, or the result of a carefully designed succession plan? While it's natural for a pope to desire continuity, the idea of private grooming, shared ideology, and long-term strategy can make the conclave feel less like a sacred encounter and more like a political convention. If Iveret's account holds, and if Francis intentionally prepared Prevost for the throne, some Catholics are left wondering, was the Holy Spirit truly given room to act freely? Pope Leo XIV now finds himself at a decisive crossroads. He enjoys the confidence of those who see him as a healer and bridge builder, but he must also address the concerns of those who fear he embodies a gentle erosion of tradition. The direction he chooses will shape not only his papacy, but the Church's identity for years to come. Will he fulfill the fears of those who see him as an agent of subtle reform? Or will he surprise both sides by asserting his independence and breaking free from past expectations? The global Catholic community is watching closely, but more importantly, millions of hearts are watching in prayer. Some are filled with hope, others with uncertainty, many simply longing for guidance. The foundation of the Church is at risk. They do not doubt the sincerity of Pope Leo XIV, but they fear that he may be part of a larger plan to reshape the Church in a way that distances it from its traditions. At the heart of the current debate is a fundamental question. Was the election of Pope Leo XIV the result of true spiritual discernment, or was it a carefully planned succession designed to preserve a specific vision of the Church? The idea that a pope could quietly prepare his successor is not in itself scandalous. It's natural that a leader would want continuity. But when that preparation appears to involve private meetings, ideological alignment, and strategic appointments, many begin to worry about transparency. Traditionally, the conclave is meant to be a sacred time of prayer, reflection, and openness to the Holy Spirit. It is not supposed to be a political process. It's not supposed to follow earthly patterns of power. If what Austin Iveret says is true, and if Pope Francis spent years grooming Robert Prevost to take his place, then some Catholics ask, was the Holy Spirit really allowed to guide the process freely? Or was the path already prepared behind the scenes? Pope Leo XIV now stands at a historic crossroads. He carries with him the trust of those who believe he can unify a divided Church, but he also faces